Okay, here we are back at our house that we started. Big yard, unpainted house. I'm just going to show you. My window got crooked. Things like that happen. Don't worry about it. If you remember when it happened, don't forget the hand tool, H. You can always do undo, but don't undo looking for that particular thing. You can always redraw it. Take it out with the eraser. No big deal. In this case, I wouldn't redraw it, but I would, you guessed it, copy and paste it. Only want the window. You know it's selected because it has little dots inside of it. I also know that this video goes a little bit fast, so I really encourage you to go back and look at it more than once. Paste that window in. For the purposes of showing you how the paint bucket works, I'm going to skip the windows and the doors and let you use your imagination. There are lots of things we can do to a house. If you need ideas, go out on the web and look at pictures of houses, either SketchUp houses or real houses. What happens when I erase this line? Oh! Undo, erase. Alright, so paint bucket. Right up here under tools, or there's the picture. Paint bucket. Is it also a P tool? Nope, that's push-pull. Paint bucket. This is important. There are categories of materials. Categories. You can get to them this way or through the folder view. Colors, back and forth arrows. Use your computer skills that I'm looking for you to use and your resources. Before you raise your hand, call me over and ask me where the grass is. I'll say it's under the vegetation, or you have to know what vegetation means. Graphs, lots of choices. I'm going to try that one. Orbit around, zoom out. Doesn't look much like grass in this video, but it has more texture on your screen. Let's go to another category like, let's see if I want to put some roofing on here. What would that be called? I guess it would be called roofing. Get some shingles. It goes about that quick. Orbit around. Don't forget the other side of my house, so I'm going to get the paint bucket again and finish that. Zoom. Orbits. I need some siding. By the way, this is not a realistic house. It's missing something. It's called a soffit and a fascia. I notice I'm putting a little tiny rectangle on the side of the house, and the soffit and fascia is usually about 12 inches. I'm sorry, the fascia. That's the board you'd be looking at. Push-pull tool. Drag that out about 3 feet. I'm going to leave you hanging with this one because some of this stuff you have to figure out on your own. Watch this. I'm going to orbit around. How can I match that exactly? Excuse me. How can I match that exactly on the other side? I guess I would have to know the exact dimensions. So you may have to go back and measure it. All you need are the dimensions of this little rectangle here. 3 feet 1 3/16 wide, 1 foot 1 11/7/8 tall. So that isn't what a soffit and a fascia looks like, but this is. Orbit around. Remember, we're constantly orbiting and pulling things. Actually, I'm going to move this. Grab this line right here and pull it out. Now watch what I orbit around. Looks a lot more like a real house. I even have a little gutter. Isn't it cute? Do the same thing on all of the areas where you have a situation where a roof comes down and water would be going straight down to the siding. Speaking of siding, I'm going to go back to that paint tool. Find me some siding. What would it be called? Brick and cladding? It's not called siding. They call it cladding. I guess they're from the East Coast. Use your imagination. Maybe two different materials. We see that quite often. That doesn't look like brick, but it does when you get close up. Put some of this stuff up there. I don't know. Doesn't take very long to paint. Oh, I've forgotten the roof. Anyway, I might have to make another line across there. I'm going to leave that side. Go back to my roofing. And finish that. You don't usually have two different kinds of roofing. Unless you want your house to look like a mess. Whoops. Which one did I choose before? That one. No. Gosh, we're getting a trip around town. Which one did I choose before? For that one. No. Pause video. I guess it was this one, but it just looks... Oh, no. You can't put roofing on the side of your house. It would look hokey. Orbit around. It just looks different because of the shadows. Speaking of shadows, one more thing before we go today. Paint buckets. Finish up the roofing. Orbit around. Zoom out. Still need some more siding. I need some more windows. I need a driveway. I need a patio. I need some furniture. One more thing before we go on this video, and that is views. Shadows. Very cool. Starting to look realistic. Have fun, work hard. Raise your hand if you have questions, but before you do, try to solve your own problems by thinking and reading.